Intro.
Android and iPhone users welcome. BlackBerry and Windows Phone users, we will accept you. The podcast going beyond the headlines. This is the Goopplycast. Now the host, Matthew Carr.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Goopplycast. If you're listening to us as a podcast, please come hang out with us live. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube on Monday nights just after 8 p.m. PST. If you prefer an audio-only version, you can find us after our live show on your favorite Android or iOS podcasting apps, including iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Matt Carter. With me today is Matt Evans. Hey, Matt.
Hello.
As well as Roy Slapinski. Hey, Roy.
How's it going?
And Tim Van Claveren. Hey, Tim.
Hello.
So, everyone, on tonight's show, we'll be discussing tech we didn't regret purchasing. We had a show a little bit ago where we talked about tech that we really enjoyed purchasing. We've talked about things that we thought would make really good Christmas gifts, but we haven't talked about those tech purchases that, that we're really excited that we bought. So I'm curious what everyone's like category of tech purchases will be, especially Roy, because I don't know. I mostly hear Roy talk about like how enamored he is with iPhones, how enamored he is with some OnePlus stuff, some his Apple Watch. But I'm curious, Roy, what didn't you regret purchasing?
The Panera app off of
that doesn't count. That's not it.
So going back to 2000 and what year was it? 2008. It was the HTC Dream, or better known in America as the T-Mobile G1. It was the first Android phone that ever came out.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, now I'm an iPhone person, but the G1 really brought me into the smartphone world. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I wish I actually still had it to play around with to this day. It really showed me what a smartphone was capable of, even in the infancy of Android. That is probably one of the first tech purchases that, my adult life that I would say that I don't regret purchasing. I could easily say that I don't regret purchasing an iPhone for the first time, which is all because of, you can thank Sprint for the reason that I switched to iPhone, by the way. That would have been a tech purchase that I regretted purchasing that I didn't mention. But it was the next one I would say that I don't regret purchasing was, and Matt helped me out with this purchase because he actually went and picked it up for me. It was the iPhone 5C that brought me back into iPhone from Windows Phone. If you remember how.
Where did I pick that up from?
It was off of a OfferUp or something like that. You went and picked it up for me. We met at Red Robin, and you handed it off to me because you went and picked it up for me. I think because you lived closer to where the guy was. In fact, I remember you tweeted about me being back in a blue bubble because you were so excited to be back on iOS. I have a great memory. Obviously, Matt does not.
You do. I don't remember that. I mean, I do remember you having an iPhone 5C. I don't remember me picking it up, but I probably did. So
it was the baby blue color, which would not have been my first choice.
Oh yeah. I do remember that. Yeah.
I didn't like most of the iPhone 5C colors to begin with, but at that point it was out of the possible colors. It was one that I was willing to live with, and I really wanted to be back on iOS. I would probably say, I do a lot of research on tech. There's most of the tech purchases that I buy, I'm fairly happy with. But
that's just the wife.
Right? I mean, I meticulously will watch YouTube reviews and read reviews before I will buy something, to see and I'll compare it against something that I might already have, and see if it's something that I'm willing to upgrade to. obviously upgrading from an iPhone to iPhone is not something I would watch a review on. But like, if I was going from like say a Pixel 4 XL thinking about upgrading to say a Samsung S21, I would probably watch a lot of comparison videos and just kind of really really get a good feel for how different they are before I
Sure, you
would go
got
out.
two different user experiences, form factors, design methodologies. There's a whole bunch that if you're moving from one flagship carrier to another, you would want to just know about to understand.
I would say that the next thing that I don't regret getting is my MacBook that I actually bought from Matt, bringing me into the Apple ecosystem a little bit more. I always say that Apple's greatest product isn't their phones, it's not their computers, it's their ecosystem. And that is probably their best selling product. That is technically free when you buy their other products. And finally, the last tech purchase that I don't regret purchasing is my Nintendo Switch.
Ooh.
And that is because when I bought it, especially when I bought it, I was working graveyards. I was working overnight, so I slept during the daytime. There wasn't a lot of time that I had to play like my PS4 or my Xbox One, but I could always lay in bed and play my Switch before I fell asleep. I could take it with me to work and play at work, and I'd get some video game time, something that I wouldn't have, gotten any otherwise. So once the Switch came out, I really kind of dropped down on playing video games through any other console. I really played mostly just my Switch. I still play mostly just my Switch to this day. Not that I haven't gotten some games here and there on Xbox or PS4, but the portability of the Switch is, has made it key to my gaming lifestyle. And I would say that is probably the last big tech purchase that I wanted to list that I definitely don't regret purchasing by any means.
That was much more, I don't know, friendly to like Android. Having the G1 be your first out of the gate was pretty awesome because I remember that phone. It had the scrolling nub on it, and it was like a hinge system
Slide up
where
keyboard.
it had a slide out keyboard. Yes.
Yeah.
That was.
I also owned a G1 too. That was my.
Oh, really?
I had a Windows. Yeah, so I had a Windows. What was it? I had a Windows, like, it wasn't like a BlackBerry, but it had like one of the keyboards on it. It was like a Windows type phone or something like that. Prior to that, wasn't very good. I didn't like it. Switched to the G1. I liked the G1, but then like, I don't know. It just like when it didn't become upgradable, and they were changing. It was a first run device.
Oh yeah,
and that's kind of what deterred me away from wanting to get another device because it was changing so much, and they said that it wasn't going to be upgradable to the new software, and I was like, no, I'm kind of done with this. And then I went to iPhone, and I never turned back.
Yeah, I don't think Android really started hitting its stride like in all reality until like Jelly Bean KitKat. Not that it wasn't usable before then, but it really kind of became more in line with the OS that we see today. Because if you go back and look at screenshots from Cupcake, which I remember when I finally got the Cupcake update on my T-Mobile G1, it was the night before I moved, and I was up super late, and I got the update notice, and I was super excited. But you go back and you look at the original Android firmware that ran on the G1, and even some of the other earlier Android models, the early Droids, the T-Mobile MyTouch and MyTouch Slides, and whatever other devices were out at that time. There was an LG one, I can't remember what it was called. And the Android that was then and the Android that is now is so very much night and day difference. Like you can totally see that they have evolved their end user experience over the years. I would even say honestly, much more than iOS has on an appearance basis, on how your phone looks. I mean, Apple's given iOS a facelift with new icons and the way that things are laid out on the home screen, but Android looks so much more radically different from then than it does now than iOS does from then to now, and in my own personal opinion.
And like it the other thing too is I think apps you wouldn't be able to install, like some of the newer apps that were built for the new operating system wouldn't be compatible with the G1, I want to say. And so that's another thing that kind of deterred me away from going fully in on Android. And then the iPhone, I think the iPhone 3G was coming out when I switched, and that's when I switched over to iPhone. So I wasn't an iPhone user from day one. I did start out on Google and kind of moved up from there.
Yeah, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, one thing I wanted to throw out about where Google was and where they are now is the amount of effort that they put into just the breadth of cell phones and manufacturers that they have that Android fits on, and the fact that apps, not only do they run on so many of these devices that span so many different generations, you can have one app that goes back, 6 or 7 or 8 generations and it still runs decently well. But you also have like the material design language that Google has built into all of their apps and their kit for developers, and how you can have all of these apps run and feel kind of the same because Google spent the time to make sure that regardless of what level of developer you are, because so much is free on Android.
And even with the material design, like, that still translates to websites too. You see websites that look so much like it because they use the material, design project that, Google supports. So, and, puts out there as an open source project, so people can build on that design process and use those design standards.
So what would be your favorite, the least regret tech purchase then, Matt? I'm curious if it's what we all think it is, or what I think it is.
What do you think it is? Let me ask you that first before I bring it over.
If it's more than one, I would have to say that the Apple Watch is in it. It might not be number one. There might be like something that's really nostalgic that you love, but I would imagine
it isn't number one. But I will get back to you on that. So
okay. What?
It's interesting to categorize that as a tech purchase.
It attaches to my technology device. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
It
is a tech purchase in my eyes. So this is the Apple MagSafe wallet.
Wow.
And let me tell you. So I've been a fan of wallet cases for a while. I don't really like the folio ones where you open up, but I do like wallet cases. Prior to that, I had a bowl strap case, and the bowl strap case just has 2 little pockets. So when this is what I used on my iPhone 11 Pro pretty much all the time. Like this was my go-to case, and I used the longest. I had 3 different versions of it, and it was my go-to case because I can keep my ID, I can keep everything there, and I don't have to take a wallet. Like, I don't have to carry. Well, I do have to carry keys for the car, but my watch unlocks my front door. All that. So when Apple released this, I was like, oh yes, this is going to be great. Bought some knockoff ones. They didn't work out well. And then I bought this one, the official Apple one. I have it in black too as well. But it is ultimately my favorite thing. And so I recently bought the bowl strap one because I thought it would be kind of fun to have, and try back out to see what I like the most out of it. And I hate this now.
Oh no.
Don't get me wrong. It's a great case. Great case. Bowl strap makes great products. If you're looking for a leather case, I even like this leather case better than the Apple leather cases. But having card slots on there, like I tried it for the weekend, and it just like it doesn't excite me anymore. This that I can just snap onto my phone and go is is so much more incredible.
And whichever case you want, right?
Exactly.
Like now you can have whatever.
I have multiple MagSafe cases, and Bullstrap is actually working on a MagSafe case. It's not supposed to be out till June, but it is going to be a MagSafe capable case, and it's got like a metal trim on the back and then leather on the back, so it actually looks really kind of cool. May try that out when it comes out, but I'm just not a fan of the folio cases, or the not the folio cases, but the card slot cases anymore. This is now my go-to wallet, and I've kind of limited myself to three cards. My ID, a credit card, and debit card, and I don't have any real regrets from that. So
now that is. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just gonna say. So that's kind of my top tech purchase, and right now it's killing me being on Android for a week because we're doing the Android Switch challenge, and the fact that I can't use this on my Android device,
there you go.
Not good.
I mean, it's barely hanging on there, but that's not bad actually. I got an Apple. I got an Apple product on a MagSafe, on a Pixel. Anyway, so killing me this week that I can't carry that around. But let's see. So my next purchase is.
And before you say what your next purchase is, I just want to throw out that now that you've mentioned that the wallet has just kind of fit in with your lifestyle so much, like it makes so much sense, because you're always like really on top of it with like cases and the kind of way that your phone looks in a case or outside of a case, and you kind of want to be minimal about what you bring with you, and having this wallet case that attaches makes complete sense.
I do, and I don't think I have my keys here, but I have the Orbi key. Have you guys ever heard of the Orbi key? Orbit key
sounds like an all-in-one key system, but I'm not sure.
It is. It's an all-in-one key system, and I'll leave the link in the description. But I don't have it with me. I don't even know where my keys are at. Probably in the living room. But essentially, it combines all your keys into like a little leather slot. And the one reason why I got that is because when you put your keys in your pocket, like a lot of times I will forget that my iPhone or my Android phone is in there, and I'll put my keys in there and it'll scratch up my screen protector, and I'll just get so irate because I have all these little scratches all over them. So the fact that it folds up, and it's very minimal, and if you don't have to carry keys around with you all the time, most of the time when me and my wife go out, she has her keys and I don't even have mine. So, yeah, so it's very, very minimal. And that's kind of what I like about the Apple Wallet. Is very minimal. And like I said, I can keep it on my desk or my nightstand, and when I go, I grab it, slap it onto my case or slap it onto my phone and walk out with it. So, okay. So next purchase. Sorry, let me take them out of the case. My AirPod Pros. It is probably one of my most favorite purchases. The sounding of AirPods is just amazing. How they connect and integrate into the ecosystem is just it's such an amazing thing. I can pop them in and I can be on a call and it'll switch right over to AirPods because it detects that it's in my ear. I can real quickly connect it to my MacBook or my iPad, whatever device I'm using. And the noise canceling is amazing, especially when you have really loud neighbors upstairs that make lots of noise.
And spatial audio. If you've not tried spatial audio on AirPods, you have not lived.
That's something I want to try.
I do too.
Spaces audio is good. So, third on my list is my Apple Watch. So I'm rocking the Apple Watch Series 6. Really a big fan of Apple Watches. I've always been. We did the review when I first got my Apple Watch, and it has changed my life. during the Android switch. So I have 2 SIM cards that I use. I have my SIM card for my iPhone, and I have my other SIM card. And I'm not even taking out my SIM card because I'm using Android, and for the most part, like text messages I can reply to on my Apple Watch. But the most part, like, if I do use it, I do it on here. But and just open up a new thread with the most people that I talk to on a daily basis, which is Roy and my wife and our Slack conversations. So Apple Watch has really changed how I've used my lifestyle and how I use it. I could go without an iPhone. I have gone without an iPhone and left my iPhone at home, and I've gone to the store. I've gone to Silverdale or out to dinner or whatnot, and I've left my iPhone at home. Not on purpose, but I have. And I've been able to do everything I can with my Apple Watch. So.
I will say
Righty.
that is probably one of the best things about the Apple Watch and the AirPods, because say you want to go out for a walk, you don't want to take your phone and keys, and I've done this. Leave my iPhone at home. I have my watch with me. I have my AirPods in me, even in my ears, and I walk out the door and I go to the music app on the watch, and it's like, where do you want to play this? And I'm like, on my AirPods, and bam, it's playing on my AirPods, and I can stream music as I'm going on a walk.
I think that was like the thing that I was most jealous about having an Android Wear watch is with the Apple Watch, the ability to not have your phone with you. I know the newest version of Android Wear, I think you can do something like that, but I don't even think you can have a SIM card on your Android Wear like you can on the Apple Watch. And that's something I've just always been jealous about, is like the ability to not bring your phone with you.
Well, if you had an iPhone, which you have coming on Saturday, and an Apple Watch, you can do that, Tim. I'm just telling you.
I know. I don't want to buy an Apple Watch though. That requires.
I'm pretty sure
spending
Samsung
money.
watches do that. I know at least the Gear S3, which is what I have. If you have a Verizon account or something, you can just get your cell phone company to give it a phone number, and so you can like make calls. You have limited internet on it, and then no matter what, like the payment system always works. So Samsung has Samsung Pay, which uses a different technology than what Apple Pay uses, so it works in more places. So you can do it with regular card swipers with just your watch, and they don't even need to take Apple Pay or Android Pay or whatever. But yeah, so you can also load stuff onto the like memory inside of a Gear watch, and I'm pretty sure they also connect with headphones, though I don't think I've done that myself, so don't quote me on that. But if you want standalone watch, that's something to look into.
Interesting.
Okay. And I got 2 more. So this is the... Can you see it?
Bomb of some kind?
Mac Pro?
Mac Pro.
It's an Aki
power
tower.
Power tower, and it's got 12 regular ports on it, 3 USB ports, and 2 USB-C ports. This thing is a beast for charging. If you have a lot of devices like I do, and you want to charge them, this is what you need. Literally, has power ports around it, and then it has the USB ports in the front, which are so nice and so convenient for charging. Also
plans the downfall of mankind.
And so anyway, so I leave cords plugged into it and stuff like that, and then I usually charge my Android device on this, just because it doesn't charge on my MagSafe charger for some reason.
Oh,
well, it does, but it takes like 3 days or 4 days.
I looked into that. The Pixel 4 only supports certain wireless chargers for regular wireless and fast charging. Supposedly, supposedly, and I've not tested this out, that is fixed in the Pixel 5 generation. I will eventually try that out and get back to you.
Well, that's very disappointing.
It is.
from a
Why
Pixel
would
standpoint.
you do that? Why would you limit the type of wireless chargers that your phone would work on? Why would you just not let it work with any Qi compatible charger?
That's a great question. It seems pretty no-brainer to just make sure that your customers can drop your phone on whatever wireless charger.
Exactly.
And then the last thing I'll mention is I have the Bose Companion 2 Series 3 speakers on my desk. I picked them up about 6 months ago. They sound amazing, especially when you have a lot of video conferencing calls and you take phone calls throughout the day and listen to music and podcasting. It's definitely great sounding quality speakers for a great price. They're $100 at Best Buy and on Amazon. I picked mine up for, I think I got them for $10 off, but they are the best sounding speakers for like an office setting, and they're very minimal. They are still corded, so you have to have a cord for both speakers, but I've got the cord management pretty much worked out pretty well. So that is my list of tech purchases that I have not regretted.
I am very impressed, especially with the Aki Power Tower thing. That thing looks actually really awesome. I need one of those for my work. Or you also mentioned like Orbi. They have this thing called the Orbit Key Nest, which is this like portable organizer / desk companion with a portable charger built in. That thing looks fantastic. So I'll be considering getting that. So thank you for sharing.
The charging tower is probably like literally, Matt, like you have a lot of devices. Like I charged my phones on there. I charge my, headphones, like these headphones here. I always charge on them. There's other random, like, keyboards and mouses and stuff like that I charge on there. And then I also charge my Dyson on there as well. I plug that right in there. So,
I really like that it has USB-C built in. So that is things I'm looking for more USB-C direct charging. So,
yeah, definitely.
Tim.
Last but not least, Tim.
All right.
Wait. Maybe we should wait and do this after he gets his iPhone.
It's not gonna happen.
Never.
Tim, you won't leave me.
I will start off by saying something about not my favorite company in the world. But
let's go.
I love their modems. They're great modems. So I bought this in 2013. It was probably the most expensive tech product I think I've purchased to date, costing around $2,000. I bought this for college. It was my Mac Pro. This thing I bought kind of on a YOLO like reason, like just for school and stuff. It was, and I'm still using it to this day. It's still as powerful as the
let
day.
me see how thick yours is. I'm just curious. Not that bad then.
Yeah, it's
about the same.
I've had this computer. Yes, I bought it Halloween 2013, and it is just as fast as the day I bought it. It is just as good. I use this thing constantly, all the time, as a main computer. The battery life is not as, of course, has gone down. It still lasts, I would say, about an hour and a half on battery, which is pretty okay. But
considering the fact that it's almost a decade old.
Yeah, I've taken really good care of the battery, very careful. I don't want to have to replace it because I've looked into what it is to replace it, and I don't want to do it because you have to. The battery's soldered into the motherboard, and I don't want to have to undo that, but I will if I can keep this laptop working. It's a fantastic computer, and now I understand why people buy Macs. It's before I didn't really get it, but now it makes sense. They're good quality computers and they last for a very long time. And I'm still using this thing until the day it's broken and I can't use it, and it still works, and I do a lot of stuff on it.
Buy another one.
No, that's not happening.
I went through a lot of PC laptops over the years, and so I think it was in like 2004, 2000. No, I think it was 2006. I got my first MacBook, and it was I upgraded it. This was back when you used to be able to upgrade the RAM and the components inside of it. I upgraded it in like 2009 or 2010, and I think I got rid of it in 2014 finally, and that's when I got my next version of the MacBook. So,
was that your black MacBook that you had back in the day?
Yep, that was my black MacBook. It was oh god, it was a beast, but it was it lasted forever. I'm telling you. You go through PCs like no tomorrow. MacBooks will last you a long time.
And the one thing I really
Apple built a really solid product or something.
Yeah,
the one thing one thing I wish Apple's Macs still did to this day, they don't do it on the new ones anymore, but the light up logo on the back, I think is the most iconic thing to have ever existed on any kind of like.
I agree with you on that. I actually do agree with you.
They're
do they
everywhere.
Really not do that anymore?
No, the new ones are just matte. They're just black, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So they're just like a silver cutout now.
Huh.
They don't light up. I mean, that still looks impressive. Like, I'm not lying. That looks amazing. But if that lit up, that would be so much nicer.
I am texting Tim Cook about this right now because I didn't realize they didn't light up anymore, and I can't in good conscience let this go. So
how could you?
Well, I'm sure we're not the first one to mention it to him.
Well,
I think he hears about it every day.
To be such a good friend of his and to explain to him, he obviously listens to my input. I'm just saying. Well,
yeah, I'm sure he's going to call down to his engineering department and say, "Hey, I need you guys to start putting lights in the Apple logo on the MacBooks."
You laugh, but 2021 will see the return of the light up.
Oh my gosh, that would be so great.
You want to bet money on that?
The Pro Air.
I will bet you $100.
So I don't want to bet
does not return.
I don't want to bet any money, but how hilarious would it be if this year was a light returns in 2021?
The tagline.
The tagline will be, "We'll leave the light on."
Oh no.
That's already taken. We don't want to be associated with that.
Oh man.
Next purchase that I have. I bought this a while back. The Hue Lights. The Hue bulbs I bought. It was my introduction to smart home technology.
Mine
and it's
too.
been so great. Like, just fun to play around with and use. Also, I lived in Seattle for a year in a basement apartment where my bedroom had no windows on it at all. And I had Hue bulbs, and they were a fantastic alarm clock to wake up to in the morning, where to slowly have them dim on, and it was
dim on. And you can do the same thing when they go to sleep. You can set it so like if you want to go to sleep in 5 minutes, you can set it and it slowly dims out.
It was great. I love those Hue bulbs. I still use them constantly. I don't have, not every bulb in my apartment is those because they're kind of expensive, but if you can get the bulbs on sale, they're a great buy.
They actually sell them. They actually sell them at Home Depot now for $10.
Really?
But that's
they are not as They're not the color. No, they are the color ones. You can get the no wait.
The color ones probably
The
wouldn't be
color
that
ones
cheap.
are
I bet that
$20. I want to say the
really.
color ones are $20 now. Don't
Okay.
quote me on it, but they're relatively cheap at
Home Depot.
Home Depot. Now they don't put out as much light. They're not the lumens in it or whatever are not like the normal ones that you get for you pay 30 or $40 for, but they are. And I don't quote me on it, but I want to say they are color. I'd have to go back and look at what my wife's is, but we had one in hers and we just put it over there. And I want to say it was like $10 for the basic one, and then maybe $20 for the color one. But again, it's not as bright as the original ones were that you can still buy. I did when we moved into this apartment 3 years ago. I went to Best Buy and I bought 3 starter kits.
Yep.
And every
Best
bulb,
deal.
every bulb is in there. And then these are little Philips Hue switches. Oh yeah, they're Hue switches, and I got them. These were closed out at Target. They were $10 a piece, and they're
Gosh, what a
normally like
steal.
they're like $25 a piece. And I went in there and I saw them on the closeout, and I said I want every one of those ones. And I said, "Do you have any more in the back?" I said, "I'll take whatever you got in the back." And so every one of our house has Hue bulbs in it. And then we have like little lights over our bed set, and we have little switches at the bedside too that we can turn on our lights there. And yeah, I mean, you could program them to do different things, different sceneries, fade in and out,
Yeah, there's a whole ecosystem dedicated. I think there's one app where you can use a phone next to your TV or something like that, or it'll catch audio from your environment, and it'll adjust the hue lights in real time to match kind of
and
the
music
scene that's
too. Like
going
if
on.
you could have
Music,
you could have a whole rave party in your basement apartment there, Tim. You could have just set that up on your iPhone, and it would have listened to your music, and bam, it would just change the light color as it goes. Like,
Yeah.
It's $9.97 for the basic white light bulb, and it is $12.97 for the color and tunable white A19 LED 60-watt bulb at Home Depot.
The app.
Is that the color one?
What's the
Yeah.
model
the color
number
one?
on that?
Let me open this up really quick. Give me 1 second. It's
Oh no.
Can't see it.
Color changing, $12.97. Let me pull up. Model is 5. Oh gosh, darn it, just went away.
Well, if you put it in the
52702.
52702.
562702.
562. 627. I need to know.
Matt's gonna go out and buy all these Hue bulbs tomorrow. He's gonna go to Home
I'm
Depot
probably
and
the
knock them
only
out.
person that's ever used Hue. Like, can you just buy the bulbs and you're good to go, or do you have to?
Yeah, you don't need a hub anymore. You don't need a hub anymore for those.
Really?
So
Yeah,
you're telling me that I can go down to
These-
Depot right now, buy a bunch of these $12.97 bulbs, replace everything in my house, and turn all the lights red?
Oh, I see.
I'm gonna
Oh.
freak the kids out. You wait and see.
Dang.
That's freaking
And I have
crazy.
a hub. I have a hub I can give you too if you want.
So for the record, these are 800 lumen light bulbs. These Philips Hue bulbs, and the first generation Philips Hue was 600 lumen light bulbs for the exact same, roughly the same style. So these are brighter than the first generation of Philips Hues.
Yeah,
Hue is on
and
their,
if you
third generation now.
hold on just a minute. I'll be right back.
All right.
So what is the base station or whatever? What is the hub? What does that do?
It connects to your it connects to your Wi-Fi network. You hardwire it to your network, and then the bulbs, it helps the bulbs connect to your Wi-Fi, because the light bulbs connect to the Wi-Fi, not the hub. I always thought that it was the hub, but they connect to the Wi-Fi themselves.
Really?
But you don't need that anymore. You can just connect it.
Correct.
Without the hub.
I'm assuming you can just use your phone to pair it to your Wi-Fi without needing it.
There's
That's
an
correct.
app.
So you can connect it to your Hue bulb with your app now. So this isn't a Hue bulb, but this is kind of like what they looked like prior to it. So they had more of a round tip. It was more like a traditional bulb. Let me see if I can hold on. Let me dim my ring light a little bit. So you kind of see it. It's kind of a ring of it. This is the newer ones that you get at Costco or you get at Home Depot. So it's not like most of the light comes out of the top of it, but it doesn't necessarily shine as bright on the sides, is what I've noticed.
They have both those for $12.97, both styles.
Do they? Okay. Well,
I'm gonna have to go to Home Depot and buy a few of these now.
They also work. They also work with HomeKit as well. So the hubs help you connect the devices together. You can connect up to 50 devices with the hubs, but again, now you don't need them. You can connect them directly to your smartphone.
I see. So yeah, I'm looking at the graphic that's actually on the Home Depot website. Like you said, Matt, you can control up to 50 of these lights with the hub, and it looks like up to 10 with just the app or like your smartphone or smart devices or something.
So that's the biggest difference, is you can get more off of the hub than you can just from the app.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never tried adding more to it, but yeah.
10 is kind of like enough, especially if you have like an apartment or you don't want them in every room. 10 is already a lot, because where are you going to put them? Like your rooms and maybe the living room?
Yeah. So you can usually find hubs on eBay or sometimes the Facebook Marketplace for relatively cheap as well. So you might check for there, because I think you have to buy the starter kit in order to get the hub.
You can buy the hubs off of eBay, because people like you just buy the starter kits to just get
and I have one and I don't even use it, I think. So
and to answer your question, Matt, you asked if the hubs, you can set timers on them and like change the light levels. You can do that. You can set the lights to turn on a specific scene at a particular time. So like if you want it to look like evening or really bright daylight, or like Seahawks to turn on at like 6 o'clock or something, you have a lot of granularity to change all the colors and all the times.
So I have mine set up through HomeKit, and I control mostly everything through HomeKit. When I leave the house for the day, and so me and my wife are both part of our home. So if we're both gone, it will then turn off all the lights unless it's after 5 o'clock or dark time, and then it will. If we're gone, let's say we leave at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and we're not home by 5 o'clock, it will start turning on some of the lights randomly throughout the day or throughout the evening to let them know that, let people know that you're home, and B, also for the dogs, because we have 2 dogs, and being at home in the dark is not always fun either. So
I like
you can do a lot of customization
when you leave, because I have kids and a wife that constantly are leaving lights on.
They have to, But so when your kids get older, you end up leaving them home alone. If they don't have a phone and you leave, sometimes my wife will go to McDonald's and we'll do the curbside, and the McDonald's is on my phone. And when she leaves, she'll take her phone and my phone to do the check-in for the McDonald's from the curbside, and she'll leave and all the lights will go off in the house, and I'll be like, oh.
That just sounds like free humor right there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, Matt, you should definitely pick some of those up. They are definitely good, and the Home Depot ones are just as great. Don't let them discourage you. And there's some other bulbs out there too that you can get too. So there's definitely a lot of smart home options too.
And Hue has a pretty large ecosystem at this point of different types of lights.
These are. I don't know if we talked about it on before the show or before we started the show.
I think it was before the show, but we got back.
These are Hue. These are Hue lights back here. These are called the Hue. What did I say? The Hue Play lights. Is that right?
Do I still have it up? I don't have it up, but that sounds.
I think they're Hue
right.
Play. But yeah. They're Hue Play lights, and I can control them from here, and I can have different things. I have magenta on right now because I'm a big fan of T-Mobile, and so so definitely check out the Hue lights, and there's lots of options. These are actually pretty affordable too. I mean, they're a little more expensive, but for $60 you can get an uplight basically, and you can put some lighting behind your bed or behind where you put your TV and stuff like that. A lot of people do. And there are some cheaper options out there too. If you look on Amazon, you can get light strips to put behind your TV, which look really cool and stuff like that. So one thing to do is if you want to try and, set up some cool mood lighting in your house is to look at YouTube videos and see what they've done. Because a lot of people do different type of lighting in their bedrooms and offices and living rooms and stuff. So,
oh yeah, you can connect them to computers and have lights based on what's going on in your game. Lots of stuff.
Yeah. So we kind of went off topic. Do you have something else?
Yeah.
Sorry, we kind of stole the show away.
The strength of his choice was just too strong.
Yeah. And so, kind of backing up what Roy said earlier. In high school, my first ever, I would say, smartphone was a Galaxy Nexus. And I loved that phone. It was my first ever Android phone I've ever had. It had ice cream sandwich on it, and I was really excited to have it. It was a fantastic phone. It was my first ever smartphone. So it was, of course, I did all the fun, stupid things on it, I can do these cool things. But it was I loved that phone so much, and I loved Android because it had the ability to use. You could use pretty much any application you wanted. At my high school, there was I had Verizon, and there was no cellular service at all available at the high school. And so I found an app that would auto turn on airplane mode at 7 a.m. and then turn off airplane mode at 1:50 or 2, which was when I left school, which doesn't sound like it was important, but it was great to not have to turn my phone on and off airplane mode constantly because the school had no cell phone reception at all. But
did they have Wi-Fi?
They did, but it sucked. It was terrible Wi-Fi. So there was no using. I could connect my phone to the Wi-Fi.
I guess that keeps the kids off of the.
Yeah, but it's Verizon only. Everyone else I knew that had T-Mobile and AT&T all had no problem. It was just Verizon. It was It was because it was in the middle of nowhere, so they didn't have Verizon towers or anything like that. That was my first phone. Next, something I bought. I bought this a while back, and I didn't really use it too much. Now, because of the pandemic, I've used it all the time. My standing desk. I bought this back when I bought it from IKEA, and it was I did not want to spend. Back then, motorized standing desks were in the thousands, and I didn't want to. It's a lot cheaper now, but I did not want to spend more than $500 on a standing desk. And the IKEA had this one for, I think it was $250, and it's a crank one, a manual crank up desk, and it works perfectly. And I still use it to this day, even though it has broke on me a few times. I can just fix it myself because there's no motors or anything like that. So it's super easy to fix. And, but I use it constantly all the time.
I will tell you, I love my standing desk. So I converted a desk. I had a desktop that I gotten from IKEA, and then I got a stand off of the internet. and it was from a company. It was on Amazon. It was from a company called FEZIBO. And they sell just the frames, the electronic frames, and you can just take your desktop off of your old one and put it on the standing desk frame, and you get electronic keypad. You can set programmable, options and stuff like that. But standing desk has honestly changed how I use or how I stand throughout the day. I try to stand for at least 4 hours in the morning. And then sometimes I'll sit down in the afternoon. But it's just the ergonomics of everything of working and standing is so much nicer. And I'm looking at trying to do some different things when I move with the standing desk and stuff like that. I got a different desktop, but I'm looking at some other options too, because I've seen some other cool ways of people using standing desks. So I support standing and all you can do throughout the day, because so many people sit when you sit at the desk for 8 hours. So many people sit. So
yeah. Last thing, I think it's my last thing. My last tech purchase. I bought these. It was a very impulse buy. I needed computer speakers, and I bought the cheap $30 ones from Fred Meyer. And they are the best computer speakers I have ever used. The bass is freaking stupid ridiculous. Like the sub on them is absolutely ridiculous. It's not, I know compared to like Bose speakers, they probably suck and they're the worst sounding speakers. Like compared to probably every other brand, they're bad. But I don't know what it is about these. I've used them since, I think I bought them in 2013, and I still use them to this day because they're so good.
What's the brand?
It's CA.
Fiber acoustics.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bought those and they're so good. I highly recommend them. And they had two models.
You should
the cheap ones.
You should get those little. What's the little light?
Not the water ones. No.
Water ones.
No. No, Matt, do you
remember that? Remember that, Roy?
I'm trying to flush me remembering that out of my system because
4 different spouts.
And those terrible small circular little speakers on the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Remember, Everything Is Awesome was played on that.
Yeah.
Oh
my God! I remember John selling through all of them. John selling through all of them, and then he had
to get some from more stores.
Yeah, he got them from Linwood and had everybody
so many
else
of them.
Shipped them out of there because we sold them all.
So many.
Yeah. It was great. So, let's see here. Comments here. I refuse to buy cheap out on speakers. I agree with you. I like good sounding speakers, but I mean, if the cheap ones sound good, like.
I've been impressed. I recommended a friend to buy these same ones, and he bought the instead of buying the $30 one, he bought the $50 one, and it was better. And he was like, "I'm so happy with these."
I will tell you, I bought some cheap ones off of Amazon. They were Amazon Basic ones, I think. Before I got the Bose ones, they sounded horrible. Like absolutely horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But the one cool thing that I can do with this, so these Bose come with an auxiliary port in the back. So what I did, because I have an Amazon device on my desktop here, I plugged it into there, and I can set up Apple Music on my Amazon device, so I can actually play music off of there and feed it onto my Bose speakers. It is so nice.
I'll show you guys the speaker really quickly. Let me turn my
my goodness.
It's blurry, but
IRL.
you can see it.
I see.
I don't know if
I do see them. Yeah.
And then that's the little like docking station kind of thing right there.
Yeah. It's like fantastic speakers.
Look at the stand on those speakers. It's so simple. Sturdy looking plastic.
You need to work on your cord management.
Hey, you know what? My cables are perfect.
No, you have way too many cords on there, Tim.
Hey, my desk is perfect. I don't know
What does yours look like, Matt? I'm just curious. How many cords
What?
do you have on your desk?
Let's not talk about my desk. Remember, I'm using a closet door as a desk, so you can't judge me by the horrible mess of cables that I have just everywhere.
Okay,
That's why I
so
need the Aki power tower. All one nice,
Got it.
secure place for everything to plug in. See?
so Matt, tell us about yours because we've
Oh.
gone through all of ours and we haven't even gotten to yours yet. We're like,
Right. So I made it simple. I'm actually wearing mine. Will it even turn on? I don't even know if it's plugged in or what's going on. So basically, I bought this jacket. It's a heated jacket. It's the Mercury Intelligent Heated Jacket by a company called Ministry of Supply. It is a really straightforward looking jacket on the outside, but heating jackets have become really popular over the last 3 years. This thing has a heating pad in the back and then one heating pad in each pocket. It has enough pockets for me to get everything done that I need. One inner pocket on either side. Matt said he just got a heated vest. It's so nice. And this thing is controllable with an app, and it's a smart jacket. So as you use it,
what's it called?
it's called the Mercury Intelligent Heated Jacket. And it has a power bank USB charger. Absolutely.
It really does have a USB jack? It has a USB power?
Yeah, so it plugs in to a USB power bank. The one that it came with was a Qi charger, so you could charge your phone at the same time that you're heating the jacket, which was pretty nice. I lost that since, or broke it, one of the two. And so the thing that makes this smart is that it has an external temperature sensor, an internal temperature sensor, and accelerometers so that it just knows when you're wearing it. And as you adjust the heat throughout the day and based on what temperatures you're going through, it'll remember your preferences. And it got to the point where it was so good at guessing what I wanted that I haven't opened the app since maybe the 3rd month after I bought it, and I've had it for a couple of years now. It's like it's so good that I forget that it's just a heated jacket that works exactly the way that I want it.
Do you ever feel like you're just going to go out into the rain and it's going to be pouring down rain and you're just going to go up in flames? Like
be electrocuted. So it is machine washable. And so I've thrown it in the wash a couple times and then taken it out, and I've been in the rain, all different types of conditions, snow, heavy wind. One of the things that tipped me off to wanting to get this was actually Bellevue. I've been caught out in just horrible weather or bad circumstances. Like the city of Bellevue, I feel like is super windy for no reason. And I was wearing what I thought was a decent jacket, and the wind just cut right through it. But I was in Chicago recently and I had this. Oh, so good.
How much did you pay for it? I'm just curious.
I got this on Kickstarter and it was probably about $250, and I think that was 50% off of MSRP, so it probably went up to somewhere close to $400. I generally don't pay that much for anything, but having had this for so long, knowing that they put in this coffee substance that fights odors, so it doesn't pick up odor, and it's water and stain and dust resistant. It's just one of the best purchases in general that I've ever made. So if knowing what I do now about this jacket, I would buy it again for sure. I love that it has this little thing that doesn't light up right now. If I plugged it into my computer, that would be hilarious, but it's just a button that has on, off, and standby mode, so that when it's in standby mode, if it notices that you're going to pick it up and put it on, then it'll just turn itself on by itself.
You need some LED lights on it.
I actually if I could upgrade this jacket, I would want a Wi-Fi sensor so that I would always know where Wi-Fi is. I'd have either one of those things on the front or like on the inside that was like a Wi-Fi meter, and I'd be like, oh yeah, this is a good spot right here.
When you first brought up that you were about to talk about your jacket, I was expecting like LEDs to turn off your lights and like LEDs, and then I was also expecting you to put like sunglasses on.
Oh my gosh. You know, so there are a bunch of so because PCs have now gone the way of the LED, there's so much just random LED stuff out there. Like, I would totally deck myself out in that Razer mask that they are either making or made that has like LEDs everywhere and is like an active filtration system. You guys saw me with those like light up glasses that I have. I'd wear like an LED jacket. Heck yes, that'd be hilarious. I would do it. But yeah, this jacket, absolutely fantastic. And while like looking through this jacket a little bit more and looking through the app again to kind of refresh my memory about it, I forgot that it's voice controlled. So like you can hook it up to an Echo and just tell it to like turn on your jacket. I have not done that literally the whole time that I've had it. And
yeah, I see that. I mean, how often do you carry an Amazon Alexa with you, though?
That's exactly. Hey, Alexa, I'm about to put on my jacket. Mind turn it on? No. But yeah, so that is my favorite tech purchase.
Do you have anything else, or is that it?
No, that's it. Everything else is just kind of straightforward. I mean, I enjoy my Oculus. I've enjoyed it since day one.
I enjoy your Oculus. If you want to, since we're so close, if you wanted to drop it off sometime, I'll take care of it for you.
Yeah, I'll let you babysit it. That'd be cool. It needs some time out, away from the family for a little bit to grow. And Oculus keeps releasing updates for it, and they recently allowed the virtual desktop mod so that you can play wireless VR games off of your PC through the Quest as a wireless headset. So previously you would either have to plug in a cable or go to a separate service to download this mod onto your Quest headset. It was really cumbersome, and it's kind of like what Epic hates about Google's privacy and security settings, where like you have to go through a bunch of steps to get some app from some third-party service. But the Oculus company finally allowed this mod that will let you just stream VR games from your PC to the headset. So it just blows up the amount of VR content you can play with the Oculus. So I'm pretty excited to get more into that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
I think
anybody else have anything else?
if there's and anybody in the comments, if there's anything that you would love the rest of us to know about, feel free to share, because this has been a really fun podcast. I enjoyed the tangent that we went on about
with the Hue bulbs. Well,
yeah.
And the fact that you guys didn't know that they're so cheap now, like,
yeah.
I feel like there's going to be a run. I think there's going to be a run on bulbs at Home Depot tomorrow.
And like they're legit, like the Apple of smart lights. I feel like they are. The best,
I mean, they have the best
features.
Yeah, they have the best apps. There's so much you can do, even with the app itself. If you don't hook it up to HomeKit or you don't hook it up to anything else, it works fabulous on Android. It works fabulous on Apple. And like I said, I mean, you can connect it to you can literally connect it to your phone and have your music channel the colors while it's playing it and change the colors. It's so incredible. So, so definitely check them out. And I'm serious. Like if you're thinking about doing home color lighting and you want to try and figure out how to set up your home studio or your home office or your, have good, cool backgrounds and stuff like that, check out YouTube, because there's lots of videos on there on how to do that.
Absolutely. So I think this is a good place to call it. How do you guys feel about that?
I feel good about it.
I think it's been a productive night.
All right. So thank you all for joining us live on this episode of the Goopplycast, and thank you to all those listening on the go. You'll be able to find our replays on YouTube and the podcast version of our episodes on all your favorite podcasting apps, including iHeartRadio. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook for updates on the podcast and to be notified of our video reviews. I've been your host, Matt Carter. For Matt, Roy, and Tim, thank you for watching and listening to the Goopplycast. We'll catch you next time.